and you don't go and do those quotes, and you don't reply to those customers, and you haven't got good customer service, and you don't put the effort in, and you don't do the good work, you're not getting paid. Just break off. Okay, yeah, I'll do your porch. I'll come and tile your porch. Oh yeah, what, you've got a couple of tiles that need replacing. I'll come and replace those. I've spent the last 10 years working in the tiling industry. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what I think are the best ways to make as much money as you can. Also in this video, I'm going to chuck in some little tips and tricks and other ways that I really think you can benefit, whether you're at the start or at the end, to accelerate your journey and to just make your life a lot easier. I want to start off with talking about where I started. This is a question I get so much, by the way, is how did I get into tiling? What's the best way that you could get into tiling, etc, etc. And although a lot of you might be watching this and you're already in the industry, this is the point where I'm going to start, and I'm going to work I've literally tried everything, by the way. I've not done lots of everything, but I've tried everything from working on site to building furniture, to doing a little bit of large format recently, working all the way up from just doing little 600 by 300s up to 1200 by 600s. I've gone through the trials and tribulations of having to pull away from working to somebody, to starting my own business, to wanting to be 4 weeks booked up, to being 6 months booked up. I've done everything. I've been through the whole thing, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So my journey started off on a building site. I used to work for a company and we used to do new builds. And so whilst tiling new builds, what you would be doing essentially is you'd be working for different housing associations, and you would get the same bathrooms, and you'd have pretty basic specifications. That's what I was looking for. And it is such a good place to start. If you're just starting out tiling, you've got good people around you, because chances are you've got your own boss if you're working on a site as well. So you've got a little bit of direction. It's a little bit more lenient. You've not got customers looking over you and checking your work and stuff. And because you're doing the same specifications all day, every single week, this means that you can actually, you can almost come back and look back at your previous jobs and just try and improve time after time after time without feeling like you're getting out of your depth with trying new things. So on-site work, a lot of people knock it. I stopped enjoying it for reasons that I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, but it was such a good place to start. For all of the reasons that I've just mentioned. Now, for me, working on a building site became quite disheartening. It became a little bit very samey all the time. There's other little things as well, as in, like, you know, you're not in a heated house this time of year. You're having to break through like a sheet of ice on the top of a Bosch to start work. It's very rushy, you know, you can't be quick enough. Quality's not that important. So when it comes down to job satisfaction, for me personally, working on a building site just became, I don't know, it's monotonous, the word, I don't know. But it just, yeah, it became quite unenjoyable, and I was just kind of striving for a little bit more, really. I wanted to run my own business as well. And although I was always self-employed when I used to do this, I just didn't feel like I was running my own business. I was always being told what to do. I was being told what time I had to be on site. You know, couldn't work weekends, had to work these days, have to drive here and have to drive there, doing like 40, 50 miles a day. I know for some of you, like, that's going to be nothing. But for me, it's just something that I didn't want to do anymore. But I went in and out of working on a building site for a long time, trying to start up my own work. 'Cause, you know, it's not easy starting your own business as well and getting your own work in. And you try and do it, and then you kind of be half in, half out. And that's the other thing, it's reliable. You know it's there. You know you can just turn up, do your job, turn up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever, clock off at 4, go home, boom, done. Some lads love that. Some lads love that just grind of just doing the site work. Money can be okay. If you, look, I'm just going to just go for it, guys, in this. I'm just going to literally tell you everything. And there's probably some people that are going to be like, oh, you're talking about all the trade secrets where, you know what? I feel like it's part of my responsibility now, to the point of where I'm at, you know. As I've been tiling for the best part of 10 years, with our social media platforms, we've got over 750,000 followers as well. And I'm not trying to do that in a boasty way, but I'm sorry, but I've literally like tried and done everything, and gone through the whole thing whilst trying to record everything as well. But the point I was trying to get at is, on site, if you're doing floors and you're doing a bit of everything, you could be doing bathrooms, but a lot of the time the good money is going to be made on the floors. And to be fair, that's in throughout the industry in general. I mean, this is another problem that I'm going to move on to in a minute. And if you can't get the floors and you're just doing bathrooms, it's hard to make really good money. And even for me, but for me, the passion always was in doing the bathrooms, in the bathroom tile. And I've always just loved tiling bathrooms. You don't have to move too far. You're not up and down off your knees as much. You know, if you've got your cutter on a bed or on a step up or something like that, you're just in one spot and boom, 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 you're just working throughout the bathroom. I like the fact that there's lots of cuts and different cuts. It's a bit more intricate. But then if you want to earn really good money, you have to be on the floors, and the floors you graft, I think. Especially if you're working on your own, or if you've got a labourer with you, it's a little bit better. So there's the two of you, that's good. But the money on the floors is where the money's at. So if we just move on a little bit now, I wanted to get into doing domestic work. And the reason why I wanted to get into doing domestic work is because, I mean, I know a lot of people moan about customers, but I actually quite like the customer side of things. I like the customer satisfaction. I like it when you hand the bathroom over to a customer and they just like love it and they're buzzing with it, and you know that they're just going to kind of be using that bathroom and enjoying it for years to come. I like the fact that there's different specifications. It's not the same bathrooms all the time. It's not the same tiles. And so, of course, when you're building a portfolio of work, if you can have a more varied kind of span of work and different projects, your portfolio starts to look a lot more. It starts to look a lot more impressive. And I always think about this, you know, like a portfolio of work is like it's your website, it's like your book that you show everybody. It's what you've got to show for what you're doing. And for me, I wanted something to show. And this is the period, right, when I started getting into content creation. It's when I started making videos, because I wanted to build a portfolio of work of everything that I've been doing. And I wanted to get off site. I needed to get off site because I wasn't happy. I actually was just like quite miserable, to be honest with you, when it got to that point, because like my job satisfaction was out the window. I wanted to make more money. I need more money. Gaffers couldn't pay me any more money. So I was like, well, the only place I can go is to go and work for myself. And just to put things into perspective as well, in terms of the money that you can make on site, I was like starting off, when I was very first started off, I was on like 80 quid a day. That eventually went up to 120 quid a day. And I just about managed to start getting 150 quid a day. And that's because I was like running a site as well. I was doing a lot of work. I was like kind of managing a couple of lads, kind of. I don't want to say managing, but you know, there was other lads that were on site and I was having to go and check on the work and stuff like this, you know. So I held a little bit of a higher position. I was getting 150 quid a day. And I just wanted more. I always do want more. Even now, I want more. Again, stuff I'm going to lead on to in a minute. Yeah, I needed to start getting my own work in so I could earn more money. And that's when I started making videos. And this eventually paid off. You know, I was blasting my content all over Facebook, Instagram. Some of you guys may have seen this if you've been there from the start, but I was putting it everywhere, photos up everywhere, and this started getting me my own work in. And eventually I broke off from the on-site work, and I've never been back. From that point, I've always done my own work. Sorry guys, I'm just going to kind of walk around in circles because I'm at the unit today, and I'm going to take you over to my unit in a little bit. And I'm going to talk about that as well, and why that worked and why it also hasn't worked in the same breath. So I started getting my own work in. I have in mind like the first bathrooms that I did. I actually did some like really big bathrooms early on, and they went amazing. Like it went really good. And this is when I started to love. You know what? This is actually the point in which I started to learn how to tile. And I spoke about this in like 2 videos ago, and so I won't go into it too much, but my dad used to say to me, Jack, when you do your driving lessons, and somebody else also said to me, your driving instructor teaches you how to be safe, okay? It teaches you how to be safe on the road. And I always think like you do an apprenticeship, or you might go do a tiling course and learn how to tile, and they teach you how to be safe doing a tiling project. They teach you how to be safe in a bathroom. And I learned how to be safe on a tiling project. I learned how to be safe in a bathroom, but I didn't really learn how to tile. Like, I'm gonna hold my hands up here. Like, we wasn't priming plaster. We wasn't we wasn't you know, using polishing pads or anything like that. We wasn't doing any of these things when we was on a building site to just make things as good. Wasn't tanking. You didn't have to tank. You know, you still don't have to tank in the UK. I don't think. I think actually, you know what? I think for about 12 months ago, you now do have to tank on new builds. You can correct me, guys, by the way, if I'm wrong there. Feel free to let me know. But my point is that when I went off on my own and I started doing social media, you all of a sudden start, I mean, you start having your work pulled apart, which is a really good thing about social media, as depressing it is sometimes. Sorry, I've got a dog that just keeps running around me. I keep feeling like he's going to knock me over. You, you, sorry, yeah, when you go off on your own, you start to, and you're uploading things and you start talking, meeting new people in the industry as well through social media, you start to learn the right ways to do things, because there's some of these guys, right, and some of the lads I talk to, they've been tiling for like 30 years. I'm sorry, they have just got a breadth of knowledge that you just can't compare to. Coming out of being on site, doing on site house bashing, you just can't compare to the knowledge that they've got. And so you just can't learn enough from these guys, right? So you start learning all these things, tanking, and the surfaces you should and shouldn't be, well, the surfaces you should be priming more than anything, the right tools to use, different methods and ways of doing things, the way things should actually look, setting out, centering windows, building your window ledges up to a height rather than, so you can finish a full tile finishes. Oh, there's so much stuff you start learning when you go off on your own. And that's when I really started to love this industry. I loved tiling. And again, this is stuff I'm going to get onto in a minute. It's crazy because it's just done, it's just gone, woo, it's just gone all the way around, right? And so, and because there's so much to learn and there was so much going on, all of these projects that you finish and the depth of it and how much there is into it, and you start really learning about the intricacies of the industry, things started becoming really satisfying when I was finishing jobs. I got quite obsessed. I was constantly, and this is why my videos just started getting better, because I just got so into it. And I lived doing that for a good few years. I'm not going to try and pluck the timeline out of my head now, because I'm already going to have looked a bit ditzy on this, like when I'm pausing trying to think about things. But that was great. Money started getting better, and I started loving the trade. I started loving my job, became really, really passionate about what I was doing, and you can never ever learn enough, right? Now, some of the downsides of this, because we're going to go through the goods and we're going to go through the downsides of all of this, is that you have to start pricing your own jobs. And I've lost count of the amount of jobs that I've underpriced, that I've lost money on. But I will say, even though this was happening, I still kept going, because actually the enjoyment of what I was doing far outweighed the risks of not pricing a job properly and losing money. So I just stuck with it. I was loving it. And as long as you just keep grafting, you know, you might have to do a little. People think that when you start running your own business, that things get easier, right? I think there's that little misconception. It's like, oh, you earn money, things get better. Rah, rah, rah. No. Yeah, you start earning more money, but things do not get easier. They get harder, because you have to work hard. You're working for you now. And if you don't get up in the morning and you don't go and do those quotes, and you don't reply to those customers, and you haven't got good customer service, and you don't put the effort in, and you don't do the good work, you're not getting paid. Okay, if something goes wrong, it's on you. You can't push it onto the person, your gaffer that employed you. You can't try and blame it on another trade or anything like that. I'm sorry, it all falls back on you. And so that's one of the things. There's definitely a lot more pressure. There's pressure from the customers, and there's just a lot more pressure on yourself, especially if you've got a family and stuff, like I have now. I've got a 2-year-old, and you know, you're chasing your own money as well. That's another thing that we're going to go into. But I think as well, just to kind of rewind a little bit, you don't just, I didn't anyway, just go from being on site to going in. I know I said I'd done a couple of big bathrooms early on, I did, but you're mainly doing small jobs, right? Because if you can just break off, okay, yeah, I'll do your porch, I'll come and tile your porch. Oh yeah, what, you've got a couple of tiles that need replacing, I'll come and replace those. That's another one, you know, because I wanted to go off and do my own thing so quickly. Guys, I was doing crazy stuff. I was like going and scraping mouldy grout out of people's bathrooms and silicone, redoing all that. And by the way, it's really good money, because nobody wants to do it. I was like changing cracked tiles. I was going and finishing other people's crap work that they'd done. I was doing anything that got me off doing a building site and managing my own business, I was just 10 times happier. Even though it was crap work, I was 10 times happier because I got home and I was like, no way, I've done all of this for myself, did all this under my own name, under my own business. I got the work in, I quoted it, I got paid, it's on me. And it felt so good. It still does now. It feels so good to do this. And so, and yeah, so you start off there, and then because you're doing all of these jobs, and I was recording it anyway, and however you would like to advertise it, word starts getting around that you're a good tradesman, that you know what you're doing. And so then you start getting better jobs in. So of course, the barrier kind of starts moving. Again, it did with me, maybe it won't with you. Maybe you get to a certain point, you're like, I'm happy here, I'm happy here. It isn't with me, because I'm always just searching for what the next thing is, what's better, what's the new thing for me to do, how do I progress in this industry? And I love it, but at the same time, it's like, at what point do you just kind of go, right, okay, I'm happy now? And I've not got to that point yet. So yeah, so then you kind of, for me, because I got really into tiling, I was like, I want to start working with bigger tiles. So, you know, you start getting to 600 by 600s in, and then all of a sudden, then you start moving up to your 1200 by 600s. Dog almost just clattered me again. You start moving up to the 1200 by 600 porcelain tiles. That for me was a really big point as well. It's when I managed to get up to these bigger tiles, and you're doing these high-end bathrooms, and then that feels really good. And I was like, I thought that was going to be the end point. I want to get there. I was like, I want to get there, and I want to start doing bathroom renovations. So guess what? Started doing bathroom renovations. I did my first bathroom renovation after my daughter was born. Loved it, by the way. Absolutely loved it. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this now. But guess what? Again, you know, the grass isn't always greener. You kind of, you go and do the that project actually went really well, but then you might have another project. So like I had one like 4 or 5 months ago, and it wasn't things that went wrong for me, but things went wrong with other trades, and of course that falls back on you. Some of you might remember the Tradesman bathroom that I did. There's a problem like with the plumbing and stuff, and guys, like a job that should have taken me 10 days is like 4 weeks later, and it still wasn't done. And that doesn't fall back on anybody else, it falls back on you. If you want to getting paid, it's your fault, it's your business, it's not anybody else's fault. So again, I fast forwarded quite a lot here, but we may as well, because I spent a lot of time doing all of that. Of course, I got my unit, so I got my workshop, and I spent a lot of time doing bathroom renovations, doing tiling jobs, and of course, because I was recording everything, I kind of did get to a point where I started cherry picking just the work that I wanted to do. The work that makes good content, the work that does, you know, the work that people wants to see, and kind of the work that I'm going to enjoy doing. Oh, what's he doing? Mate, get off. Stop biting my shoes. So yeah, I started just, hang on, I'm going to talk to you guys when I just get into my workshop so this dog can piss off. Ta-da! That's better. I've not got a dog nibbling at my legs now. So we're back in the workshop. It's a mess because last time I was here, I was finishing this rubbish, and it was freezing cold. So I spent a lot of time trying to move forward in the industry, trying to decide what it is that I actually want to be doing, trying to find the end point really, and just constantly trying to progress. And that eventually, very gratefully, led to the point of getting this place, this workshop. And I honestly was so convinced that this was the just complete end point for me. The point of, I don't know why, but the point of where I can kind of pull away from the bathrooms, pull away from the stress of chasing money, pull away from the stress of things going wrong, pull away from the stress of having to go, not necessarily stress, but you know, having to go and quote jobs and get all of that in, because I lost the love for it. I did lose the love for the bathroom work and just tiling in general. I got sick of it. And so this was my opportunity to retract and be in my own space and only rely on me and have everything set up for me in here to do the furniture. And, you know, I built these. I I'm actually a little sneak peek for you. And guys, by the way, I don't want to stop doing this. I don't want to stop doing the furniture builds. I'm in the middle of building this as well. But the point I'm trying to get to is I thought like, this is me now. This is me. And again, you kind of always just setting yourself these endpoints. And I think I'm starting to realize that like things always just need to be adjusted and tweaked. Like, I don't know if there really is, for me, a true like end point. Like, okay, this is me now. This is me now. I think for me, I'm always going to have to just keep adjusting things because, you know, I got to the point with this workshop. And because I love creating content, right? And I saw somebody the other day put a message off a video that I did. They were like, well, what is it you want to do? Because you say you want to do content, but what is it? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not really explaining that very well. And what I say when I want to make content, I've always made videos. Like even when I was 20 and I worked in a gym, I've always made videos, whether it's silly videos. I've always enjoyed the concept of recording something and editing it and uploading it and just seeing how it performs. I love that game. And I know it's not always a healthy game of trying to do things and seeing what the views are and looking into the analytics and but I just love doing that. Of course, when videos aren't doing as well, it's you're on the down, but then when videos do well and it's like, yeah, and it's resonating with people and people love it, it's like, yeah, you get that dopamine, and I love it. I'm not saying it's good for you or good for me, but I love it. I love the game and I love that chase. And so when I say that I want to do social media and content creation, it's that I want to do that. I want to be able to record things, and I want to kind of also be recording things that I enjoy doing. And recently, and this is where, and it's just, you know, it's mad because, you know, you start off here on site, and then you get onto the small jobs, and then you try and work out to doing bigger jobs, and you try and do bathroom renovations, then you pull off and try and do like furniture and whatever. And then I'm at a point again now where I'm like, you know what? I think I just want to go back to doing the small jobs again. And I am going to talk about the whole money side of things in a minute because I said I'm going to talk about the best ways to make money, and I am, by the way. I'm going to give you some I'm going to tell you what I think is the best way to make money in this industry. But just to kind of go back to that a little bit, my plan is I think I just need to take some steps back again. I need to go back to what I know and what I enjoy doing. And to be honest, it is those smaller jobs. The big jobs too stressful for me. It's too much time because the social media thing and all of this, it does take up a lot of time as well. There's a lot of planning that I do sit down and do, by the way, like, you know, I try and get creative and come up with concepts for things. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the slowness of that, but I also think sometimes I do just need to get the tools in the van and go out and go and do a job as well, and go and get on the tools and get on the trail and go and earn some money. To touch on the topic of making money and what I think the best ways to make money is, if you can come up with terms in your contract to do the small jobs and get paid either upfront or on completion of the work, so you're not constantly chasing the small jobs, you know. So if you do 2 a week and then you're waiting for that money the week after, and then you're waiting for that money, and all of a sudden you're owed 4 jobs worth of money. For some people that's not stressful. For me it is. I don't like that. And so my plan is to just try, for those smaller jobs anyway, to just get paid up front. You know, if it's under 500 quid, get paid up front, or on completion of the job. But I think the best ways to make money, and not taking into consideration whether you're like me or not, is if you're doing the small kitchen splashbacks, you can make good money. If you've got a decent sized kitchen splashback, you can charge, like, you know, £400-500, and if you get good at them, you can possibly go and do that in a day as well. As a little bit of an umbrella idea as well for you, like where you can earn extra money, is if you do get your social media channels set up, and you can start kind of interacting with brands in the industry, especially tile manufacturers and stuff. You can start getting your tiles at a little bit of a discounted rate, and then when, you know, your customers wouldn't been able to get it at that rate anyway, so if you find some tiles that they like, you get a bit of a discount off them, and then you make a little bit of money off the tiles as well. It's another way. And again, with splashbacks, let's say you get the tiles, let's say the tiles are worth, I don't know, 250 quid, and you get them at 180 quid, boom, 70 quid on top. And if you can make 70 quid on top of every single kitchen splashback, let's say you make 350 quid on a kitchen splashback, now you're making 420. And you know, if you do 10 of those, a month, I know that's a bit ambitious. Let's say you do 10 of them every 2 months. It's another 700 quid, another 350 quid a month. So anyway, I know that's getting a little bit kind of like fiddly with it, but I think that's a really good way to make it. Then when you're going up to doing bathrooms, if you really enjoy doing the bathrooms, you can do the same thing. If you're working with companies, you can get things at a discounted rate and then upsell it to your customer, make a bit of extra money. And really that's kind of your insurance money, I feel. Like, because you guys are going to know this as well. Things go wrong all the time in this industry. And nobody covers you for that apart from yourself. So you can put a little bit extra on for yourself there for when things do go wrong. And if not, it's a little bit of a bonus for all of your hard work. Ultimately, what do I think is the best combination of things to do? And I truly think if you can do a mixture of just doing some of these small jobs and teach yourself how to, I mean, not that any of these are very impressive, but if you can teach yourself how to do some little furniture builds, right? Because we all get a bit burnt out, don't we, in this industry, I feel. We all get a bit burnt out, and sometimes it's nice if you can build yourself a little bit of a portfolio of furniture, or even the basins, right? The tile basins. Those tile basins sell anywhere between £1.5 grand, £2.5 grand, even up to £3.5 grand for some of the like really intricate ones and the larger ones. And so if you can set yourself up some different avenues of income within the industry rather than being stuck in one lane, all of a sudden you've got these different ways to do things. And I think personally for me, I think that you can then pull more money from different areas, okay? You have things to fall back on, but at the same time, you don't fully burn yourself out, because something you may pick up on, out of everything I've told you, I've always just been, I'm gonna do this now, right, what's next, right, and you end up getting just burnt out of everything. And I think the more skills you can teach yourself within the industry, the more varied you can kind of have your skill set, the easier it's going to be to maintain this really tough. I think it's a tough job. And sorry, by the way, if it's cutting in and out in certain places because I'm swearing and I can't be bothered to beep them out, so I'm just going to like cut it to keep things acceptable. So it's a tough industry, the tile industry. I actually think it's got to be one of the toughest construction industries out there, just because of the sheer like hard graft and work. And you know, I know landscapers have it tough as well. Like, you know, the construction industry in general is tough. I'm not saying, I don't want to say it's that there's easy aspects of it, but my point is that tiling, it's a tough trade. It's a tough trade. It's hard to make a living sometimes, and even when you are making a really good living, it's because you're absolutely killing yourself on your jobs. I think I'm going to leave it there. I've been talking for a really long time. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm scared it's going to be like nearly 30 minutes. But I'm hoping that at bare minimum, there's so many of you that have messaged me over the years, so many, and I've never put a video out like this. I've tried to help you guys individually, but I'm hoping that even if there's, you know, even if there's a handful of you that can watch this video that's thinking about getting in the tiling industry, or you've done a course and you don't know what to do, I'm just hoping that maybe this is going to be like a little bit eye-opening for you, maybe, just to give you guys a little bit of like a pre-up of like what the industry is like. You know, let me know what you think as well if you're in the industry. Feel free to let me know if you think I'm wrong about anything. I've tried to just be as honest as possible, and of course this is just from my point of view on what I've been up to, where I've been in the industry, and what I think's best, really. And so just to summarize it, I think by diversifying yourself throughout the industry, and more than anything, get yourself on social media. You literally can't go wrong just with start recording yourself. Even if you're recording yourself and you're not actually editing it and using it to start with, maybe if it's a confidence thing, once you've built your confidence up and you can start to kind of come to terms with uploading that, it's huge, guys. It's huge. It's huge for getting work. It's huge for building a personal brand, and there's nothing apart from some of you know, yeah, it's hard sometimes if people are picking your work apart and stuff like this. Apart from that, it's only positive stuff that can come from it, really. If you can stomach some of the kind of aggro that we all get, by the way, it wouldn't just be you, it's me, it's all of us. We're all in it together when we're doing this, okay? If you can stomach all of that, setting up your social media page is one of the best things that you can do across the board. So anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble for 30 minutes or something like that. Let me know what you think of this type of video. I've been trying to do a lot more high production videos recently. And I thought today, I just thought, you know what? I just want to just talk to the camera. I just want to talk to you guys from a real point of view. I'd like to know whether you like this type of video. Oh, and by the way, for all of you that have made it to the end, I haven't told you about what my plan is going forward. I'm going back to basics, guys. I'm going back to getting some smaller jobs back in. But I've got some kind of strict terms in which I want to do it. I only want to do kitchen splashbacks, which people are doing really funky tiles with. So it makes good content for me. And I am going to start doing a little bit of repair work again. I know, crazy. But again, I think it makes kind of good content. It's different. You know, I think I've kind of got the time to do that, and it's not too like, you know, I don't need lots and lots of work at the moment. I just want to start getting my foot back in a little bit. So I'm going to start doing some repair work. I think it makes good content. A lot of people don't really know how to do this repair work, and sometimes things go wrong as well. And it's not good for me, but it's good for you, and it makes good content. And at the end of the day, I just want to kind of like show the true process, the trials and tribulations of this industry. And that's what I'm going to do. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you haven't made it to the end of this video, oh my God, you're one of the real ones. So thank you so much. Love you lots. Bye-bye.